All right, Knights of Apollo, what's up, guys? Hope you're doing well, and welcome back to Total War Rome 2. Once again, we've got a pro versus noob scenario. So if you watched the last one, spoiler alert, okay, the pros nearly won. If they had a few more units, they could have possibly clawed their way to a victory. But this time they're going to do it again. We're going to see if they're able to achieve the impossible. We have changed the rules slightly. So it's still a 2 versus 4. So 2 pros versus 4 noobs. But there is a third player helping out the pros. It's a noob player, and he can only control a town guard force. What does that mean exactly? Well, he can only bring 10 units total, where the max is 20. And he can only bring units that cost 500 gold or less. I think he's allowed about 3 archers or so. But the important note here is that max 10 units, 500 gold or less. Consider them the town watch, the town guard. Now, just a reminder for the rules of this battle, because there are some interesting rules here. The attackers, the noob side, can only attack one side, one set of wall here of the settlement. They're only allowed 3 units of skirmishers and absolutely no artillery. So they're going to have to rely on tortoises to bring down the walls. Of course, there's other rules like max 6 of the same unit and max 2 pikemen. Now, for the pro side, they are allowed 1 artillery each, max 5 skirmishers, and everything else is pretty much the same. 2 pikes, max 6 of a unit. The noob garrison force is not allowed in artillery. So who are playing on the pro side? So let's start with Bubinni, who he is my go-to pro. He has a YouTube channel of his own. Check it out. He's got some great videos on Rome 2. So give him some love and give him a subscribe. But he's playing as Iceni. So the great Britain Iceni. So it's going to be cool to see them in action. Got some good slingers, some good infantry. His other pro ally is Donald, and he's playing as Epirus. And finally, the garrison force is going to be Swaby, led by Apex. On the noob side, let's start with the Galatians, led by Showbiz Llama. His ally, Tharshey, who's playing as Kush, he also has a YouTube channel. So again, guys, check out the channel, give him some love, hit that subscribe button. So yeah, he's playing as Kush. Then we have Bactria being led by Bad Anka 4. So pretty cool to see Bactria is back. And finally, we've got the Athenians led by Kenji, which I will most likely call them the Egyptians at least once or twice in this battle replay. So guys, get your snacks and drinks, sit somewhere comfortable, and we will see if the pros can overcome the noobs in this epic noobs versus pros siege battle. All right, guys, here we go. Battle underway. And you can see that the noob side, the attackers, of course, all bunched up because they have to attack one side of the wall. And just looking at these factions, this is not going to be easy. I mean, these are really good factions. Bactria's got a nice diverse mix of troops. Galatia has really good, cheap, cost-effective infantry. You got Kush, which has unreal infantry, such as the Shotel warriors and whatnot. And then Athens, which Athens, you know, it's not like a top tier faction, but they're certainly not a bottom tier. So they've got some good factions here today, and already I can hear the artillery firing away. And also notice that they got some cheap troops on the walls here, which are going to force the siege towers to exhaust their ammo and, you know, shoot at Levy Freeman instead of quality troops. Here's the artillery. Let's see what they're going for. It looks like they're actually holding fire. I think they're trying to find a weak spot. Oh, there it is. They're firing way down here. Going for the long shot. Looks like they're going for the Kushite, either the Kushite slave infantry or this cav unit. Might actually be going for the Bactrian noble horse. Yeah, they're going for the noble horse. Look, they're down to 62. So they're trying to take them out. I think they're pretty concerned. It's also a pretty expensive unit. This one's down to 66 as well. So yeah, they're going for the horse, which is smart, you know, because if they do want to sally out, you know, there's less horses they have to worry about. We've got the tortoise that is moving forward, pushing a Kushite slave infantry. They're using the cheaper troops to push up the artillery for this exact reason. See how this tower is just lighting them up? Oh, geez, that was a headshot. But yeah, it's lighting them up because, well, they're in range, but it's smart to use a cheap unit instead of losing quality troops to archer fire. So they're going to go for the corner right there. They've got 2 more headed down this way. And Galatia and Athens, which I might refer to them as Egypt, guys. That is like my thing. Egypt and Athens look so similar that at quick glance, this can look like, you know, Athens or Egypt. And then Egypt can look like Athens. You get what I'm saying? But this is pretty smart from the attackers, the noobs. They're going to try to attack from multiple points of entry. And Athens, it's kind of surprising that the pros picked this this city, because this is a tough one to defend. There's a lot of open, you know, different points of entry. And sure, maybe you're looking over here and it's like, oh, there's only 2 right here, but they're wide, so you can get a lot of units, you know, fighting in this one area, which is going to be tough to hold. Over here, it's going to be a little bit easier to hold. You can see that they can hold this this position with a few troops. You know, so I think they should probably focus most of their attention over onto the right side of this this settlement. And I don't know if they're actually going to attack with these tortoises. You got the Galatian swords. And now we've got the militia hoplites. They've broken down the walls. This one's about to crumble in one more hit. Boom. Yep. And now we have 2 breach points on this side. We've got some infantry up here. Now remember, the Levy Freemen were up here just absorbing shots. They have 1 kill so far, which is, you know, they got some kills with their jabbies. Very cool. And then we've got the tortoises from Kush about to make a connection here with the defenders' walls, with the Athenian walls here. I guess the lore here is that Athens lost their city and they've got some friends of theirs to take it back. All right, let's go zoom in over here. This is where things will get interesting. How are the pros going to deal with this? Now, this is Bubinni here leading the Iceni. Let's see how they use the sword band. I assume it's going to require a lot of, you know, skirmishing, a lot of charging, a lot of flanking, and let's not forget, they do have chariots somewhere around here. Ah, they're chilling back here. So these chariots are going to play a very vital role in this victory. If they're going to have one today, they got to rack up a lot of kills. So it's going to be interesting to see how those chariots go, how they play. Still no attack yet, but we do have a fight for the walls. Levy Freeman being sent in by Bubinni, trying to maintain this arrow tower so it can keep firing at these guys. It does appear that they could be setting some chosen swordsband, a very deadly unit that would definitely cause some trouble up here. Let's see what happens. If he gets this unit in range, is that going to help reverse this? And oh, look at that. They're firing down their jabbies in the backs of this chosen swordsband. 1 soldier already down. But we do have slingers in range for Iceni. The Britain slingers who are opening fire and chipping away at the Galatian infantry up on the walls. Now we have Athens pouring over the rubble. Militia hoplites, not really a major threat, but, you know, they are hoplites, so they can hold for a decent amount of time. And also they can absorb some ammo, so I think that's probably why he's just going to charge in. There's no need to waste your ammo here. There it is. There's no need to waste your ammo because it's a cheap unit. Just get in there and kill them. And then we have got the Galatians with the Galatian swords. They're charging in as well. Look at this. Look at the chosen swordsman. What are they going to do here? They're really trying to take back this tower. I think that's why they're positioned here, because even though these, what are these? Celtic warriors? These are they're not Glacian swords. They're better than the Levy Freeman. But because of the slingers, they are dying to them. Also the arrow tower. But the arrow tower has been neutralized. And so it's no longer firing. So defenders definitely need to try to get that back. And this is a tough, close quarter battle for the walls here. And just look at this. This is kind of cool with the organized troops back there as the men are fighting on the walls. You got the towers as well. Excellent. So Athens has made a little push here. Oh, I see. We've got a unit of chosen swordsman flanking around the Glacian sword. Look at, they're going to quickly overwhelm this force and break them. Hopefully they can do it quickly before reinforcements arrive. Now we got some charging going on this side, some cycling of troops, sword band, chosen swordsman fighting the good fight. Now the attackers are charging through here as well. Kush bringing on the fight to mercenary Italian swordsmen. These are just slave infantry, so they should lose to the Italian swordsmen, especially with the help of the arrow towers. Now we have another corner that has just been broken down. But again, this is going to be a tough position to attack because it's a very narrow choke point that can be held with few troops. So this is looking promising for Epirus. Now let's not forget about their town guard, the Swaby, who are bringing mostly Bloodsworn. So yeah, they are eventually going to be called into this fight. I think the Bloodsworn, Swaby should focus on this fight over here because of how more difficult of a position this is to hold. And so far, the pros are doing a good job. You know, they're using their numbers. They're using the slingers very effectively, and this won't last forever because obviously the attackers have more numbers. Eventually the numbers are going to catch up to the defenders. You know, they no longer can overwhelm them with multiple units. That's why they need to almost not give an inch here in this area, because the more they back up, the more troops can charge in from the attackers. So I think that's why the defenders are just really trying to hold, a close space behind the breach point. And I think we have some archers over here from the Germanic slingers. Already have 11 kills. So remember, this is the town guard. Slingers are nasty, even if they're a low quality slinger, because they can rack up some kills. They're good at dealing with armor. So they're gonna continue to rack up those kills and try to help out their ally. Their pro ally. Glacian swords coming down. Did they come from, did they use, or did they sneak? I think they snuck around. I don't think they used the siege tower to get on here and then down the stairs. I think they went around the breach point, so they've got a unit waiting in reserve. They could easily attack the rear of the Iceni. They're desperately trying to hold back. Look at this. Ooh, they might want to hold fire there with the slingers. The slingers are kind of firing into their own men there, but yeah, they're going to keep firing, and they got good angles here on the thorax swordsman. Now, this is where things get difficult. We got a nice core of archers from the attackers. We're talking mercenary Assyrian archers. We've got Cretan archers as well. Multiple Cretan archers. They're opening fire and just doing massive amounts of damage. So that's going to be tough to deal with. And, is this the moment to get the chariots going? There is a chariot missing. Yes, there's the chariot. So they're rolling in. They're going to knock down some friendlies. They don't kill them. They just knock them down. So don't worry. Let's see what they do here. Are they going to run through the infantry, or are they going to run through the archers that are behind the walls? They got to get through these royal peltis. They're like, make way. Here we go. Chariots. They've already lost one somehow. Interesting. Maybe from archer fire. And here they go. They're running. They're running through the infantry. They've gotten 95 kills already. So 100 kills in that quick drive-by. So that's going up. Going up 113. So that was pretty good, but with the chariots, you need them, especially in a situation like this. It's got to be at least 500 plus kills, maybe even at least 600, because you're so heavily outnumbered. And here comes the archer fire going for the reserve force of the chosen swordsman. They're closing the gap. I think they backed away a little bit for the chariot to have some space so they could easily run through, but now they're closing back in. And nice job by Iceni over here, completely obliterating this position. And they're still winning up on this tower here. They're still fighting for it. Chosen swordsman fighting the good fight. Excellent. And now, oh, archer fire coming down. The chosen swordsman, they're actually falling back here a little bit. Same with the bloodsworn. And I think, are they dodging the arrows a little bit? I think they are. Oh, I don't know. Now they're kind of getting hit. Yeah, I think they're dodging the volleys. I think that's, yeah, look, the arrows are now flying overhead. You see that? That's actually pretty cheeky right there. Trying to dodge the volleys of the attackers. That was pretty smart, but they can't do it forever. Eventually, they have to stand their ground. They have defeated some great infantry units here from the attackers, so now they can regroup and kind of hug these walls. So good on them, good on them. Let's go back over to this side. Like I said, this is going to be a bit easier for them to hold. Now, oof, Italian sword infantry, only with 20 kills, getting hit pretty hard by the Bactrian archers. These are the elite Persian archers. So they're opening fire over the walls. And we also have some thorax swordsmen who have taken the walls. And they're trying to take control of this tower, but Epirus is not allowing it. But I'm kind of surprised that Epirus is kind of putting up a lighter defense. It could be because of this breach point right here, which Kush is being kind of encircled. This is the slave infantry, so it's not a big deal. The gate has been open. There's a fight for the walls here. Naturally, the slingers and the archers are going to get some great hits from this angle. I think the defenders should easily win this fight over this gatehouse here. So that should be completely fine. Yeah, see, they're already breaking. And I'm not really seeing any reinforcements, at least here. But Kush has a decent amount, especially with their archers. All right, let's head back over to this front, where Egypt is sending in a fresh wave of reinforcements. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes here from, did I say Egypt? Athens. I did it. I did it. Athens. Athens is sending in a fresh wave of thorax swordsmen. And I think that's their biggest mistake so far in this battle, is that they're kind of attacking in waves. Just send everything in. Obviously, don't overstack, but have troops constantly ready to go to charge into the fray and never let up. If you let the defenders regroup, it's going to let their troops have a little bit of a breather. They can hide from the archer fire. This forces them to kind of be out in the open to make their stand, where your archers can get some work done. And here we go, more slingers from Iceni. How many kills? 220. This one here, 129. They're getting kills, guys. But is it gonna be enough? Is it gonna be enough? Over here, the fight continues on. I bet they're desperate to take control of this tower again, the defenders, that is. They're breaking them. So that means this should start to go up. There it is. There it is. They can reclaim this tower. They're going to kill hundreds more. And now we've got the Bloodsworn joining into the fray. That's a troubling sign for Iceni, as they are starting to run out of troops. Where are their chariots, though? I hope we didn't... Oh, the chariots are outside. Look at this. They haven't really killed anything because they still have 113 kills. So they haven't really done... I think they're just trying to... Maybe they're just trying to get their attention. Maybe they're looking for a weak spot. But the defenders, the noobs, were ready for it. And Athens, not Egypt, Athens is sending over their citizen cab to deal with them. But I don't think they're going to reach them in time. I think horses are slightly faster than the chariots. I could be mistaken. Just because the chariots are kind of blunt. They're clunky. You know what I mean? A little clunky. All right, some more slinging. Britain's slinging. We've got Germanic slingers opening fire. And thorax swordsmen are getting hit hard by those slingers while they're fighting in a close battle with a deadly force of chosen swordsman. So ferocious fight for the claim of these walls. We got constant cycle charging. Got a lot of troops on the battlefield too, hence for the lag. We've got also Swaby joining into the fight over here, the town guard, trying to force some of these hillmen of Bactria to break. But this has been a nasty fight in a small area. Same thing over here. I mean, Epirus doing a good job. We've got the leopard warriors. Look at these guys with the leopard pelts here. But yeah, this is not looking great for these levies. They're going to have to send up reinforcements over there quick. But elsewhere, they've held pretty decent. Oh, no. Kush is pouring in troops. Royal Peltis single-handedly holding back the Shotel warriors. Swaby sending over reinforcements with the Bloodsworn. I think they're going to try to charge in and get an opportunity here. Either, honestly, they should probably form up here, right? And then they can throw some, because don't they have projectiles? I'm pretty sure they do. But Kush is using their numbers and they're flanking, or there it is. There it is. They're going to, yeah, send them in. They're going to need more over here. They need more. Guys, it's looking very dire for the defenders. They're still holding strong here. Still see a lot of Iceni troops. Still see some Swaby here taking on Galatia and the Athenians. But here's the thing, guys. Look at the reinforcements. I mean, actually, Galatia doesn't have a ton of reinforcements. But there's some units in reserve here. This is the armored Shotel warriors. These guys are nasty, and they've yet to fight. We've got some pikemen here, which are going to be a problem. Bactria still has a ton of troops. So Bactria has been more of a support faction during this battle. So they've got a lot of reserves. But they're desperately trying to hold back all these units. Galatia is on the verge of being out of the game. So that's a win for the defenders. They've got some Britain slingers moving up. They've got 82 kills. They're trying to get a little bit closer. Let's not forget Swaby. These guys have 113 kills. And once they run out of ammo, they got to charge in as melee. They are desperate for numbers. And look at the constant cycling charging from the pros here. Just setting up, waiting for them to break, charge. You know, getting that charge bonus of the Chosen Swordsman, which has a 29 charge bonus, which is fairly decent. Over here, man, they were fighting for this tower. But unfortunately, the Athenians send up reinforcements. Thorax Swordsman, is it enough to win? It says they're losing, so there's a good chance that the Chosen Swordsman might be able to push them back. They've outnumbered them as well. So if they can push them back and take this tower back, that would be huge. Again, remember, this tower is so important. It can get a lot of kills. So we'll see how that plays out. And now we've got Britain slingers opening fire as well. These guys have 60 kills, so eventually they're gonna run out of slingers. Where are the chariots? I want to see the. Okay, they're still waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. We also have some slingers here chilling. Are they out of ammo? It looks like it. 154 and 220 kills with those slingers, which is a good amount. Bactria is going all in on this side of the map. The pros are doing everything in their power to maintain these walls. Maintain these walls. We're down to the last 7 minutes of this fight. So with that little amount of time, it's either going to be a mass rout for the attackers or the defenders slowly disappear. And you can see, look at this, man. This is impressive. Nice charge by Swaby. Iceni still holding the line. The archers cracking these guys. Here's a nice flanking charge here, trying to get these guys to break. And Galatia is pretty much out of the game, excluding their archers. And they do have some legionaries, a fresh unit of legionaries. The tower has been taken back. It's once again opening fire. Very nice. And hopefully they start firing at these archers. And here comes a volley of hatred from the Galatian archer, the Syrian archers. And they need to try to hug the walls. And Bactria's back over here firing. Bactria's back. You see what I did there? Yeah, that's an easy one. But yeah, Bactria's back, baby. And they're attacking where the Athenians and the Galatians could not take. And now, oh, it just looks like the defenders are running out of troops. I see archers. A lot of infantry has been committed to this fight over here. Look at this. We got Cav charging in. We've got mercenary Samnite warriors, an excellent infantry unit. And they are pushing back. Push. They got one more unit they have to take care of. They might be going for the general. But yeah, they pushed them back pretty well. But they're desperate for reinforcements. That's why they're heading out of there. Even though they haven't completely cleared this out. And now the general is making a charge. Making a charge. Britain slingers. Slinging hard. Slinging hard. They're going to open fire on these peltis. We got hex bearers. These guys have a big fear ability. But now's not the time to shout, but to charge. And try to push back the Bactrians. Push them back. Because they're the Bactrians. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Back here, look at this. They charge the archers. Are these archers out of ammo? That might be the case, but there's so many of them. They're defeating the Iceni infantry. Where's the chariots, guys? Here they go. Still at 113. These slingers here have 116 kills. And this is it. This is kind of like a desperate push right here. Nice. Very nice. But Galatia counters with his noble horse, and the chariots are already breaking. Only getting 7 kills in that charge. And it looks like the chariots are stuck, guys. So those chariots did not pan out. Iceni's starting to break. The archers are now charging in. Where's the general? The general's right here. He's charging into a cav unit. They're not going to get anything done, guys. The chariots are a bit of a disappointment from the pros. Not going to lie. And they're starting to get overwhelmed over on this side. We've got Swaby's general, the sword masters in the fight over there. Ooh. Gotcha. There we go. Chariots down to 13. This is the general. He's desperately pushing through, trying to get as many kills as possible. And he's got 20 kills, and he's down. He's already lost 8 chariots. So now 10 chariots. They're trying. See, the chariots were not used super effectively here. It's tough. It's really tough as the pros because you have to wait for the perfect opportunity. Now these slingers are going to get charged down by the Galatians. And at this point, it's quite clear that this is going to be yet another noob victory for the... Look at, they got some archers up here. Another noob victory for the noob team, right? For the attackers. Now, I'm going to be honest. These noobs were pretty good. I think we got to get real noobs. You know, I think we got to get players that are a little less skilled. Even the factions they selected were very good. So it's like clearly they know a little bit of what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. The pros put up a great fight. But I think I'm going to change up the rules. I'm going to change them up a little bit. I'm going to make it so the defenders, the pros, can do whatever they want. They want a bunch of artillery. They want to spam 10 of a unit. You got it. They can do that. You know, if they want, you know, 10 archers, you got it. I think I need to let the defenders, the pros, have unlimited rules. Like, let them do whatever they want, but the attackers, the pro or the noobs, continue to have a strict set of rules. Because I think the numbers are so overwhelming. They're so overwhelming. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are. It's hard to overcome this. It really is. And here comes another charge. We got the desperate Royal Cav of Epirus trying to defend the rear, and this is what's left of Epirus, kind of consolidated up here, fighting off what they can, just fighting for kills at this point. And here comes the victorious noobs. They're charging in. So, and then, yeah, they've got a couple units holding here, or just one unit, and they've got almost, look at that, 260, 70 kills. So good job there, but it's just too much to hold. And now Epirus begins to crack. Swaby, though, they're still fighting. They're sword masters with 162 kills. You got to try to get more kills than that with your general, because I've seen it where they can rack up like 4. It really just depends on when you use them, you know. But there you have it, guys. The pros are overwhelmed once again by the noob squad. But here's the thing, guys. Once we get to the end results, here's the thing. Let's look at the kills. Really good job by Donald, getting just shy of 3,000 kills. Bubinni, I think Bubinni personally, he was upset about his performance here. He could have, I think the biggest issue was the Chariots. I think the Chariots could have been a little bit better there. Imagine if the Chariots got, you know, 500 kills each. I mean, whew, would be a little bit different of a battle. But yeah, I think, you know, honestly, and just kind of looking at these kills and these teams, I think the noobs they're definitely beginner players, but they weren't as newbie as you would think, you know? So, we'll see. Now I've spoken to Bubinni. He's down to try it again. He loves the challenge. So don't forget, guys, today, pretty much at the end of this video, if you watch it right when it releases, we're going to be streaming more battles like this. So should be about 2 or 3 siege battles. We'll see what we get. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So even if you don't want to play, just come out, hang out, watch the battles. I'll eventually turn them into battle replays. So if you can't watch the stream, then don't worry. I will show you the battle in the replay form. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, if you have any recommendations, if you have any advice or any rule changes, please let me know in the comments below. Appreciate your support, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.